Okay, I'm still walking. You don't realize how long runways are until you walk beside them. I'm also testing out my new, what is this thing called again? Gimbal, gamble, gumble, whatever this thing is called as I'm walking. But wanted to share a story or two about why aviation is kind of my jam slightly. I am not a pilot. I would never want to be a pilot. I have no interest in being a pilot. But first story, I need to tell you a little bit about my dad. My dad grew up on a farm outside of the very, very rural part. Closest town that people would recognize would be Williamsburg, Virginia. And, you know, he was kind of like, you know, it was very rural, and he wanted to, quote, see the world. So he got the bright idea of enlisting. Korean War happened, and our family were kind of nerdy, we're really good with numbers, and so he ended up in aviation. He was on what was then called the flying boxcar. And also, I did not learn any of this until a couple of years before his death. But apparently, their plane was shot down behind enemy lines in Korea. And he ended up being the sole survivor because he was the youngest, and you ditch in reverse age or whatever you want to call it. Sorry if I'm blinking my eye. It's just like something's in it. Anyway, and he survived. When he finally did tell us the stories, he put his socks over his ears and he hid in the bushes so that no one could see him. And he lived off of, sorry, my eye is really bugging me. He lived off of 2 Hershey bars, but he followed the deer trails down. So don't say being rural is not a good thing. He knew to follow the deer trails down, and he was, in fact, rescued. He said, I did not know that until, till shortly before his death. But the thing that, you know what, I'm just going to keep this eye closed. It is just stinging, and I don't want to have to start and stop because I'm just annoyed at that. Anyway, and so when he came back, he became basically a radar technician, is I think the official name, at a smaller airport known as, back then it was known as Byrd International, and now I think they've dropped the Byrd for political reasons, and I think it's just called Richmond International. But anyway, Richmond, Virginia. It was the nearest airport to the farm and that kind of thing. And This is the crazy thing when I stop to think about this, how much our society has changed. But back in the 70s, he used to take me or one of my many gazillion siblings, and he would take us to work with him. And we basically had free run of the airport. The air traffic place, the Tracon, was right in the physical airport building. And so we went there and played. Can you believe that? Now, this is obviously way pre 9/11 and way pre, you have to be so strict about where your kids can be, and you got to watch them at all times. But I can remember being young, and I mean pretty dang young, and just basically having free run of the airport as a little kid, which of course is the craziest, neatest adventure. And then he would always take us up in the tower as well. I can't remember if anyway, somehow we got to the tower and we would go up there, and then he would print off the little air traffic controller strips, and he would have them type in some funny fake stuff like, Patty's a good girl, flying low, whatever. Anyway, very, very, very fond memories of that. Sorry, I'm still trying to figure out this gimbal, gamble, gumble thing. And very fond memories of that, and that's part of the reason why I'm fond of aviation. It reminds me of some of that special time that I had with my dad. If you don't know, he had 12 children, and so individual time with him was a real treat. But anyway, this eye won't stop watering. I'll have to take a break and try to fix that, even though I don't have anything with me to fix it with. But I just wanted to share that little aviation story to kind of explain the beginnings of my interest with aviation.